Story has the power to change your life. In particular, not just random stories, but a specific structure and a specific formula called the hero's journey. Now, you've probably heard about the hero's journey. It's something that gets thrown around in like marketing circles. It's something that's been really, really devalued, but actually is an ancient structure that underlies all good stories, all myths. Really, it was kind of created, if you like, this framework of the hero's journey, the monomyth, was created by a guy called Joseph Campbell, and he was a sort of mythologist who looked at and studied myth from different cultures all around the world, completely disconnected cultures, and he found these sort of pattern, this formula, if you like, this underlying structure to all of the kind of dominant myths from throughout history in different societies. And so it's what we now think of as the hero's journey. Originally it was called the monomyth, and it's the monomyth because there's a structure, there's a framework that all of these stories followed. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about the hero's journey in a second. It is one of the most powerful frameworks that you can come across, that you can use in your own life to actually make more sense out of your life, to kind of anchor yourself in patterns and what phase of life you're in and understand the meaning of it. Because basically story in its most simple form is about transformation. A story is about a protagonist who wants something, goes on a journey to achieve it or get it. And it's the transformation that happens to that protagonist, that person, that hero, that character, that is the making of them. And with the hero's journey, before we get into full detail, there's a real pattern to the hero's journey, and essentially in a simplified version you have a hero who has a specific desire. There's something that they want to go and achieve or have or be or do, but they're in this ordinary world. They start off in the ordinary world, which is like normal life. It's, you know, the everyday kind of grind, ordinary world. And then essentially they have this desire, this thing they want to achieve, and they also often have a problem that they need to overcome. And they leave, on the hero's journey, they leave this ordinary world and they step across the threshold into the magical world of story. And that's where most of the adventure takes place. Why do they leave? Because they get a call to action. Some character usually shows up and there's some kind of call to action, which the hero often refuses at first because they're scared, they don't feel worthy, they question whether they could achieve whatever the quest is. But eventually, usually the hero responds to the call to action, and then they cross this threshold, this magical line, and they go from the ordinary world, everyday life of ordinary reality, to the magical world of story, which is where transformation takes place. And the order changes depending on what the story is, but often they will meet a mentor. And the mentor is some kind of like guide or teacher who has done what they want to achieve, who's achieved some kind of quest, overcome some kind of challenge, whatever it may be. And that teacher gives them specific things: magical weapons, training, knowledge, tools. Think about Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars giving Luke his father's lightsaber. That's a magical weapon, but also gives him training and knowledge. So they meet the mentor, and then they go on the road of trials, which is a series of challenges, tests, meeting allies, facing enemies. And it's all like the training stage, if you like. They're training, they're evolving, they're sharpening their skills, they're learning all of the time, they're working out who they can trust, who's an enemy. All of this leads to basically the big showdown, which is called the innermost cave in the story kind of realm, in the hero's journey. And the innermost cave is like the abyss. It's like the belly of the beast. It's the big climactic showdown, and the hero, everything about the hero's life and journey is building towards this moment, this big climax. And essentially they're going to enter this cave, and there's a huge risk that they could die. Okay, they might lose, they might not win the battle, and that gives the story tension, which makes it engaging, makes it exciting, makes you want to watch. But this is the big showdown with the ultimate monster or enemy, and they go in and they use all of their training and their magical weapons and their gifts to try and defeat the monster. Usually they face death. Usually they're pretty much killed. They face death, they're almost beaten, and then they remember something happens, something turns up, they remember a piece of knowledge, or they trust themselves and they rally, they come back and they finally defeat the enemy. And so that's the first half. And then there's the return. So after this big showdown and this climax where they almost die, but they have to be transformed in order to win, in order to defeat the big enemy. Then there's the return, and it's a phase of them coming back. It's this journey back to the ordinary world. And they're still in the magical world of story. They haven't recrossed the threshold, and they consolidate their learning, and they consolidate, you know, the experiences and the transformation. It's like integration, if you like. And then eventually they come back. They recross the threshold back into the ordinary world. And the whole point is that they come back with a gift. They come back with a gift, knowledge, training, something that's of huge value to the rest of society, humanity, whatever. And so they come back, and that's their return. And so this is a simplified version, but that's the cycle of the hero's journey. It's absolutely incredibly powerful once you understand this and when you learn it, because you can use it in many, many ways. But one of the best ways is to get more meaning, make more sense out of your life and the patterns of your life and the events and the challenges and the themes of your life. And if you can map your life in terms of the hero's journey structure, very, very powerful, because it gives you huge awareness of actually who you are, why you're here, what are these recurrent themes in your life, what could be your purpose, what gives you more meaning, and what stage are you at? Are you in the ordinary world and you feel lacking meaning, lacking purpose? Your life feels like Groundhog Day, something's missing, you're just depressed and demotivated. You need to go and change. You need to go and make some kind of transformation. That is an invitation. There'll be some kind of call to action which can happen very, very subtly, some kind of invitation. You want to do something different, you want to make a change. Do you accept that call or do you refuse it? The older we become, the more set in our ways become, the more likely we are to refuse it and say, no, I've got to grow up and face reality. But if you follow the breadcrumbs, if you accept the call and you step into this world of transformation, this magical world of story, you realize you can see and you can map out the events that have happened to you, these challenges, the road of trials, the good stuff, the bad stuff, the learning experiences, trying to find your way. You can map all of this stuff out. Chances are, and this happens at midlife, is the big showdown, the innermost cave, the belly of the beast, the big showdown. This is the midlife crisis, and this is something that people need to face in order to come out the other side of. But again, most people refuse. They won't get that far. They won't allow themselves to go on that inner journey of transformation. A couple of things to know about the hero's journey. The structure and the order can change, but it has to have these elements for it to be a good story. This is what makes all stories, all movies, all good books, all novels, all good speeches, anything that really engages the audience, draws you in and that you love, chances are it follows the hero's journey structure and formula. Some very closely, some more loosely. The other thing is that, like I said, story is a sense-making device. It's how we make meaning of our lives and the world around us. And the other thing is that there are always two versions of the hero's journey. There's one which is the outer hero's journey, and it's like going on a quest to lose weight, make more money, start a business, fall in love, defeat evil, something like that. It's a tangible thing that you want to achieve and have and be and do, and that's great. But the one that's transformative, the one that is much more meaningful, the one that's much more powerful, is the inner hero's journey, and that is always about inner transformation. It's about transforming from one version of yourself full of self-doubt, lacking confidence, lacking meaning, lacking purpose, to someone who has absolute clarity, certainty, confidence in themselves, belief, and they've come alive and been sort of fallen in love with life and activated on a mission. That's the inner hero's journey. That's the super powerful version. So why is this relevant? Well, one, it's amazing for communication. So if you're a coach, if you're an entrepreneur, if you run your own business, if you're a consultant, marketing is hard. You are facing a huge amount of competition nowadays. So many people trying to offer the same service to the same kind of audience. And a lot of it's done through social media, and a lot of it's based on hype, like let's hook people, let's grab attention, let's do something stupid to kind of engage the audience, kind of smash and grab attention, and sort of use shock tactics, and often manipulative marketing. So like based on what I call inadequacy marketing, which is like your life's not working, something's wrong with you, you don't have this. If you buy this product or service, it's going to make you whole, it's going to complete you, it's going to give you what you want. That's like inadequacy marketing. The hero's journey allows you to communicate differently and much more effectively with your audience, because you can tell your own story, what's called your genesis story, of how you became who you are, what you overcame, and why you do what you do now in your business, in your coaching, in your consultancy, whatever, with your product, your service. Okay, even within a team, if you work for a corporation, you work for a company and you don't own it, you can still tell your story and why you're engaged, because it will really resonate with your team. It'll make you a more effective leader and also make you more effective at like sales. But I think this is a very simplistic use of the hero's journey, but it's very, very powerful. If you want to stand out from the crowd and set yourself apart in terms of marketing, the hero's journey is an absolute game changer, because it allows you to communicate authentically, to market in an aspirational way, which is the opposite to the inadequacy. Is like, you're not good enough, buy this product or service and it'll complete your life. Aspirational is like, you have everything you need. This product or service is going to help you kind of like become the best version of yourself, kind of thing. It's a very simplistic example, but it allows you to communicate really effectively, market effectively, and you just do it by telling specific stories. There are 3 key stories that I teach, but one of them is your genesis story, because there are people out there who need to hear that story. They need to hear your story because they're stuck and they're facing the same challenge that you went through and overcame, and they want to know how to do it. And if you tell your story authentically in an open way, it will resonate with the right people and they will want to work with you. They will want to find out more. You will engage people far more than you ever will with like manipulative kind of like social media hooks and trying to grab attention with like clickbait and kind of junk food for the brain. That's one thing. And then the second thing is really, business marketing aside, is how does the hero's journey affect you? Once you understand it, once you study the framework, once you plot your life, like what's happened to you, and the hero's journey can work on a macro scale. So it can be like your whole life can be a hero's journey, and you can look at the stages in your life where you can plot them against the hero's journey, and it gives you huge meaning, huge levels of understanding, huge levels of self-awareness about who you are, why you're here, what you should be doing. And you can pull out these themes, these golden threads of your life, and actually realize there is meaning to them. They're not random events. So you can have this macro cycle, and the chances are that if you're in your mid-40s, 50s, you're somewhere on the road of trials, and you've been avoiding the innermost cave, the big showdown, the abyss, because you don't want to go there, the midlife crisis. And when we deny it and when we avoid it, we get lack of meaning, we get lack of purpose, we get pain, we get massive turbulence in our relationships, we question everything, we feel stuck and trapped and lost. You have to, at some point, if you want to become a mature adult, if you want to thrive again in your life, if you want to move forward, you have to go into the innermost cave. You have to have the ultimate showdown. You have to have that fight with the beast. Who is the beast? What is it? It's you. It's the inner hero's journey, the inner journey of transformation. You have to have that big ultimate showdown with yourself and find out who you truly are and let go of a lot of stuff. This is for the people in midlife. Yeah, you have to let go of a lot of the stuff that has worked before, the way you've operated before, your old identity, the old ego-driven stuff, which no longer serves you, which is why the midlife crisis shows up. It is a call to adventure, which we ignore. Head down, focus on money, focus on career, keep doing what you've always done. But you get to a point where that stops working and you feel empty and hollow, what I call the hollow man. And so it's your call to action to transform. You have to have this big showdown with yourself, which is the inner work. Now, a lot of people in their midlife stages are on the road of trials. They know they need to have this big showdown, this kind of enter the innermost cave, but they deny it and they resist it. And they'll go on in that pattern, like this mini cul-de-sac loop, rather than completing the hero's journey. If you can get through the innermost cave, if you can have the showdown, if you can transform yourself and find out what the lesson is, what the meaning is, why you're really here, what your bigger, grander purpose is that's much more important than you, and what your gift is that you're going to bring back to the world and society to make the world a better place, it will transform you permanently. But you have to go through the pain, the abyss, the rock bottom, the big showdown, and a lot of people are unwilling to do that. So these are a couple of ways that the hero's journey is super powerful. This is part one. I'm going to do like 3 parts on the hero's journey and story, and I just wanted to give you a general overview, okay, today about the hero's journey. Part 2, I'm going to talk about I'm going to show you an example by telling you part of my Genesis story. In fact, it's 2 Genesis stories merged together. So it shows you how you can start to use and understand story in your own life to create more meaning, to understand what your purpose is, but also to communicate more effectively in a way that really engages people. Part 3, I want to break down the hero's journey structure. So I'll show you a simplified version I've been using with my corporate clients in consultancy. I built a whole agency and ran it for 7 years, helping large global companies communicate more effectively internally and externally using the power of story. And it was using this simplified version of the hero's journey, and it's still more relevant than ever. So I'm going to show you that structure, that formula, teach it to you so you can understand it and you can start to use it. And then I want to show you how you can use it with a couple of key stories. So this is kind of general overview to the hero's journey. You will have heard about the hero's journey. You will have seen people popping up on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn saying, the hero's journey is super powerful. You should use storytelling to communicate more effectively. You'll hear about it in marketing a lot. It's a devalued, bastardized version of the hero's journey, intended to just like manipulate story, because the human brain works through the lens of the story. It's literally how we make sense of life, and it's how we get meaning from life. It's how we understand the events around us, outside us and inside us as well. And we're programmed to operate in stories. We think of ourselves as a character in a story, and that's how our lives work. If you're clever, you know this. If you're a clever marketer, you know this, and you can hack people. You can hack people's brains by exploiting story. So what I want to do is introduce you to a different side of the hero's journey and a different side of story and some different uses. One, yes, you can absolutely grow your business, communicate more effectively, market more effectively, but with aspirational marketing and telling your authentic hero's journey without any manipulation, because it will resonate with the right people and it will exclude the wrong people, which is exactly what you want to do. But also just to help you have more meaning in your own life, you cannot find a more powerful tool. So if you've got questions, chuck them in the comments. 2 more parts to this coming. Part 2, I'm going to tell you my Genesis story, or 2 Genesis stories actually cobbled together into one bigger Genesis story, partly to show you how did I discover the hero's journey, how did I come across it, and how did it change and impact my life, because it completely changed it. And then part 3 will be showing you the formula and be more interactive. I'm going to get some like slides up and show you the formula, show you the adapted hero's journey that I built an agency on and that I still use to coach personal clients, but also with corporate clients, and show you how powerful it is, help you understand the different stages, and then give you a few ways that you can use it in. So hope this is useful. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I am trying to make a lot more long form content where I can go deeper into important areas, and I'm trying to use social media less, because basically you can't really convey anything of value and anything of meaning in a bite-sized 90-second reel. All you can do is hook people's attention, distract people, interrupt people's day with hype. And I don't want to play that game anymore. I want to have a more meaningful, deeper conversation that is transformative for the right people, but there will be fewer of them. And I'm going to do that through this medium. So these videos, I'm going to post them regularly. It's called the Almost Daily Reset because I'm not committing to every day. It'll take a while to find the rhythm and make sure they're engaging and not too long, etc. But I hope you find them valuable. I'd love your feedback. And also, do you like this format, video on YouTube, so you can listen and watch? Or that's kind of boring sitting here watching me sitting in my garden maybe. Would you prefer an audio version, like a Daily Reset podcast where you just have the audio, high quality audio that you can just listen to whenever you're driving or washing up or whatever? So anyway, give me some feedback. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for parts 2 and 3 coming up probably this week, over the next couple of weeks.